I'm going to try to reduce the amount of time I'm talking to save time on the video. You stated a while back that you would not like to make a toon on a classic PvP server for reasons I will try to debunk in this video. Your main reason for not making a character on a PvP server was because Soda Pop got camped a lot and you would not like to too. That is your only reason. I think you are two different kinds of streamers entirely. I think you are different in both playstyle and stream-wise. I think that the main difference boils down to warrior versus druid mentality. In the next video, Swifty and Zyback both do Tolbarad in their own class ways.
When I fight people one-on-one, it's no longer a challenge. I have to fight multiple people at the same time. It makes it a lot more fun and it makes it a lot more exciting when I show these in videos.
Definitely want to have all the advantages I can, like opening out of stealth, and I really like to, choose my battles, especially in a situation like this. You don't just want to run around and just try to kill everyone with just brute force, because that's not going to work. You're going to get overwhelmed.
He takes off running, I charge him, and he turns into a boomkin form. That was the worst thing he could have done. I am so happy he did that, because he could have gotten away. I killed him, and I victory rush. You saw my health go up right there? Now I'm going to switch to the crocodile, kill him, victory rush again, watch my health, bam, full health.
Cycle on the mage. I'm pretty much in the clear right now, but I had to use 3 big cooldowns when it comes to ganking, which is Dash, Bark Skin, and Survival Instincts. And this is one of the suckiest things about Tolbarad.
Now I am quickly looking for another horde. I gotta see, I'm so happy I found one, but my charge is down and he gets off an AoE. Now I know he's gonna throw a spell at me, so I spell reflect.
So I'm pretty stoked to finally get a 1v1, and then that mage that I just killed earlier comes back and wants some revenge, so yeah, they're going to pump a ton of damage into me right here. I'm going to deep freeze, and I'm not going to try to use my trinket, and I shadow meld that frost firebolt right there, so I take no damage from that. I'm just going to run away.
These differences, while seemingly meaningless at first, can easily add up to a reputation, which gives the overall impression that he is more of an image to be tarnished, whereas you are an adversary to be feared due to your class choices alone. That alone is not my sole reason for thinking this, however, and I will continue to go into detail about why I think so. For my full reasons, I will include a Google document link in the description below. This is Little Timmy. For all intents and purposes, he represents the angry spark in your stream. Who knows why he hates you? Maybe one day he just woke up and decided he hates gingers. Maybe it's because you gave his transmog a poor rating. Maybe it's because he wanted to vote for Bernie and he saw Ben Shapiro in your recommended list. Nobody knows. For all intents and purposes, I have tried to replicate what would happen in Vanilla WoW should Little Timmy go out of his way to try to kill you. A bit slowed down. This is true for all mobs of any zone he tries to go into that you're in. Unless he's a few levels higher, there is a very good chance or a very high risk he will end up dead, especially if he makes a beeline for you directly from the starter zone of his choice. Speaking about flight paths, he can't use them because you have to discover every single flight path you want to use in WoW and also afford the price. So he has to wander all the way through the continent and avoid mobs just to get to your position and be able to discover the flight path to use in the future. This, coupled with the fact that he has to do all of that on foot, makes it a very good deterrent. This, coupled with the fact that you are also very likely going to be constantly moving, makes for a very long walk on his part. I would like to remind you that everyone in Classic WoW is going to be leveling at the same time because everyone is going to be moving from the ground up. And if we can therefore agree that prior to level 20 that you are at no real risk, I would like to say that as of right now we are in agreement that prior to contested zones, no real danger of being sniped, and your journey thus far has been a safe and secure one save from the broken mobs. I unfortunately could not find any map of contested zones, so I had to use this one. Just ignore the weird colors. Now, I bet you doubt I have a solution to the contested zones, but oh boy, I do. Check this out. Asmongold, I would like to introduce you to the Sentinels, which stands for Spurg Elimination and Neutralization Task Force to inhibit non-desired erratic lunacy. By leveling close to you, they can gain honor and experience at the same time, simply by keeping an eye on you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Would people be that desperate to Spurg out and help me even if they get absolutely nothing in return? This was the honor system back in Vanilla WoW, and would remain that way until Blizzard changed it in Burning Crusade, which means it should be intact for Classic. This rewards people who get the most honor per week, and they get promoted slightly afterwards. This means simply by existing, you should attract honor to you and naturally gravitate throughout the ranks, including people who help get kills. I received this information courtesy of Stay Safe TV in his Vanilla WoW video, but if people are throwing themselves at you as frequently as you say they are in World PvP, both you and Sentinels would gain from the system, where you can get all sorts of rewards from World PvP. Now, if we are to correctly understand the implications of this means that you would be akin to an honor black hole, meaning that your stream is so dense that spurgs are inevitably attracted to it, thus allowing you to infinitely gain honor, thus allowing you to further purchase honor gear, sharing your fortune with others, much like a distributor or a marketer. This effect is amplified further if the Sentinels were to take the same quest and go into the contested areas with you, allowing them to get honor and EXP at the same time. It just works. Now, at the end of the day, the Spurg Force is merely an image to help protect you. They are not always going to be there for you, similarly how you are not always going to be in leveling in tested areas. They are merely a means to keep people away, a looming threat, which would discourage attacks. It is also worth mentioning that since they will also be leveling in the same area, they will not be intrusive to the stream and disrupt your time. If we can at least agree at the low levels you are in little danger, and in the contested zones you are in reduced danger, I would like to start talking about the high levels. I would like to re-establish that the weaknesses of the lower levels, namely the fact that you have to walk across the continent, is still there for the higher levels, only to assume that the higher levels you have the 60% mount speed or the 100% if you desperately no-life it. From there it goes on to the point that it's a question of what if the spurgs get mount, and you're not trying to ask it, you're trying to say what if the people with mount try to spurg out, from which I answer that it's a relatively small minority, and the people who actually care enough about your stream to spurg out is an even lower one. Now let us say, for example, that little Timmy is trying to kill you, a lust for the blood he cannot spill. He has gear, he's got his 100% mount speed, he's desperate. He still needs to find people who would be willing to kill you, and with the lack of group finder or any serious sort of get-together group feature in Classic WoW, he's going to have a relatively hard time without going around looking for group. Even then, I would say that you've been done with most of the stuff in the world involving moving around and questing and move on to stuff like raids. If there is anything to do in the world of Warcraft, once you hit level 60, however, it would be the professions and the rep grinding. Two things that I have never seen you do on stream because you consider it to be boring to watch, and I think that you will continue to do so for Vanilla, when you will do most of the stuff offline where there is no chance of sniping whatsoever. If I can say this with as much kindness as I can muster, there is absolutely nobody I know who plays or cares about this game as much as you, so I think it's a relatively safe thing to say that if you were to get to level 60, you have been for days or perhaps weeks, and that even then you are in no immediate danger because of how much gear you have gotten then, and could solo practically anyone in the game. I would like to say that you never got to try the spell ranks in later expansions of World of Warcraft, especially not in a PvP scene, so I think it would be a good idea to try it on a PvP server this time. Would it not be nice to go back to your days of being a young asmongold in Wendy's, eating your 6-piece spicy chicken nuggets with a small chili and a medium Dr. Pepper, thinking about how you improve your build? Maybe even rig your build towards a certain class. Like if there is an Affliction Warlock, you can rig your build to be shadow resistant just to mess with them. Things you can't do in current WoW anymore that you can only do in a classic PvP server because nobody PvPs in a PvE server. Speaking of PvP and PvE servers, there isn't. Nobody wants to go into any physical confrontation with people, which is why they're there in the first place. It's like an Alcoholics Anonymous group, only with more losers who dread a competitive environment more than actual danger in real life. Now let's say you get tired of killing Ragnarok for the 30th time and decide to find some new content, namely PvP. Well, you're not going to find any on a PvE server, it's practically extinct. So you're going to have to spend weeks, perhaps months, leveling a toon on a PvP server just to experience it. More than anything, I make this video with a bit of sadness because I've always looked forward to Classic WoW to see what the PvP is like and to see what everything else was and how I could experience it in different ways. And I was looking forward to it too because I'd be able to spend some time with the asmongold who always talked about the greatness of Classic WoW and even experience it side by side, which saddened me to hear that you were considering a PvE server and going the Pansy route. Now, at the end of the day, I can't change your mind, unfortunately. I just saw that you were very rigid on your stance of going on a PvE server, and I figure, hey, if no one else is going to do it, I will. So I tried cramming all I could into this video, with your main concern being the Spurgs. I tried making as many points as I can, and I didn't really see a side represented on your stream, so I figured I'd do it myself. I really hope that you'd reconsider your stance on Classic WoW, even if it's just a little, and I hope you have a good one, and continue to do well streaming. Hope your throat feels better. Do you know how you can support your favorite streamer? All you have to do is link your Amazon account and subscribe using your free Twitch Prime subscription.